Too far back. We're not in church right now.
Say you're not
Remember to turn off, silence your phones, please. And let me tell you about our speaker for today. Our speaker today is Dan Weidenbenner. Say that 3 times. Weidenbenner. Yes, Weidenbenner. He is the executive director and founder of the Mill Village Ministries. This began in 2011, right after he graduated from Furman, right here, with a bachelor's degree in psychology. He has been a board member of Habitat for Humanity since 2016, and he's a board member of Greenville Housing Fund since 2018. He has received several awards and honors. The Upstate Business Journal selected Dan for the, get this title, Who's Who Young Gun Award in 2015. You look like you have a fast off. And Greenville News selected Dan for the Emerging Leader Award in 2016. He is in charge of Mill Village Ministries, and that has expanded over the years to include 4 different social enterprises, which you'll tell you about today. Mill Village Farms, Village Wrench, Village Engage, and Village Launch. And here's Dan.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Well, I am honored to be here. I was to reach out almost a year ago when we were scheduling this. And I kind of privileged to come out here to put my alma mater at Furman. I love Ollie. In fact, when I was a student, when on campus, all of our friends on our dorms were always just jealous because the class was always having way more fun out here at Ollie than on Furman Hall or one of the other buildings. So thank you for having me. Thank you for supporting our communities that are rarely active throughout the and I'm excited to share a little bit of my story and work that we do. I know we've got some folks tuning in on Zoom, so I'll look over there. So I don't look out for you. There's, I guess, more folks online tuning in. But Mill Village started, early in 2011. Really a side project for me. As I was a student, I was involved at the Center for Sustainability. I guess on the other side of Furman campus at the farm, and I started around that same time. Really became passionate about community outreach. At the time, I was doing a lot of volunteering downtown at South Towers, which is, you can hear no more, but was a senior low-income housing project just outside of downtown Greenville, playing bingo with a lot of residents. It was honestly a transformational experience for me to get to know some of these seniors and veterans too in this community, and really build some relationships with people very different from myself. Age, socioeconomic, cultural, race background, and became passionate about doing this kind of cross-cultural work. So I got into vision work. After graduating, I actually traveled down to the low country of South Carolina for a year in a small rural town called Allendale. Has anyone heard of Allendale either? Yes, I know. Yes, Allendale is an amazing, incredible community, small rural community, about 3 hours away from here. But it is one of the top 10 forest towns out here. Very hard stretch, hard-pressed community. I lived with an African-American pastor and his wife who took me in really as one of their children. And I got to do a lot of community development, community outreach with the church and with the community. And what was unique about Allendale was it being such a small, close community where everybody knew everyone, but it also was very racially segregated. All the white children there were private Christian schools, and all the Black African-American children went to public school to achieve 100%. And so it was like stepping back into a different era in many ways for me, and a very different kind of experience, and had, again, a transformational impact on my life. And my perception of really what faith and what my journey as a Christian was, and doing kind of cross-cultural and community development work. And so Mill Village was really first at that word. After that experience, I moved into the greater Sullivan community right behind Greenville High School, a historic African-American community, and joined our local neighborhood association and got to serve with Ms. Bridges, who's also the president in the city as well, and developed relationships with a lot of people. And I joined a historic church, Long Branch Baptist Church, a historic African-American church that's for over 100 years in the Sullivan community, and just developed relationships. As a new person, it took a lot of building trust It took a lot of spending time on people's porches. It took a lot of listening because there was a lot of distrust of people that looked like me as a new person, as an outsider in many ways. But I felt deeply in love in that community. I still serve on our neighborhood association, and we started really doing a lot of surveys in the community. What would our neighbors want to do collectively? And so the industry we're really in is an asset-based community development, which is really going to a community and finding out what strengths, what assets, what skills, what businesses, what families are there, and how to further and develop those strengths and those assets and use those to the community's advantage. Whereas I think the opposite of that is looking at just the problems in the community, seeing the lack of education, or lack of healthcare, or lack of food, and working just to solve just purely issue-based. Mill Village really looks at assets and how we take assets within those communities and further them, help support the community, create a vibrant place. And so through that, we started a whole vision of really focusing on enterprises that a variety of issues that we've learned about over the years in greater Sullivan community and really beyond. And so the first one is Mill Village Farms. So when I was living on Sullivan Street at the time, and still live in the Sullivan community, we had a lot of vacant land. So the church that I'm a part of, Long Branch Baptist Church, had about 5 acres and a really struggling community garden that a group of church members started many years ago, but became, just overlooked and turned into really a garden of weeds. We saw, look, there's an opportunity, there's a need for help and support for this community garden. And then additionally, we saw a lot of youth. There was a lot of teenagers in our community that didn't have a place to plug in. And so we had an asset of these 14 to 18 year olds that were looking to do something to give back to their community. And that's what I heard very clearly from students in our community. While also wanting to work and wanting to earn extra money. So often teenagers don't have job opportunities, especially in 2012 when we were starting this. And so we raised money in our local church in the neighborhood and hired 4 young men in our community to grow healthy food at this community garden, just sitting in our neighborhood as an asset, often overlooked. And then we took that produce and then sold it in the church parking lot to community members, neighbors, church members. And what we found was there was a huge need for healthy food. Yes, and we had more youth coming to get job opportunities that wanted to work, and we sold out of produce in a matter of minutes. And so we quickly scaled and grew this program to now having 3 farms across Greenville County, working with upwards of 20 to 30 youth throughout the year, providing first-time job opportunities, employment, and really leadership development. Because I think we all know, we think back to our childhood and being youth, of how important our first job was. Some of the skills that I probably taught you, maybe you did a paper route, or you worked at a local cafe, or you babysat. And we think of the responsibility that you learn as a young adult, as well as the independence that teenagers can get by having a first-time job opportunity. But we couple it also with education as well. And so we started paying some of our students, we took it for granted that youth in our community knew how to access traditional financial resources. Many of our students might have taken their checks to the check cashing store rather than a bank or a credit union. And so we started coupling education with our programs. So now we're teaching students financial literacy, we do bank tools, we talk about credit scores, we talk about saving, budgeting, all the important things in many ways that are lost in our community and lost in families across America and are not being taught necessarily in high schools. We're teaching those to students as well as providing kind of soft skills to help support them as they transition from young adults to adults. And so we've added more classes because we were listening to so many of our students. We learned quickly that many of our students were the primary chefs in their home. Their parents might be working 3rd shift. And so students were responsible for feeding their younger siblings as they got home from school. And so we started operating grocery stores, healthy cooking classes so that we could start helping those young adults help feed their families because their parents weren't able to. Oftentimes the students turn to is microwavable junk food, as we all know. And so we started these healthy things. So that's a little bit about the farm. And we've evolved a lot is how do we get our healthy into our neighborhood. And so we know there's so many complexities of why families and low-income communities like ours can't access healthy food. So I love this slide, actually, from a documentary, so it's not mine, I can't get credit for it. But the cost of eating healthy is so challenging in this country, especially in our neighbors that are on a very fixed income. I only have $3 to $5 a day to feed their families, and oftentimes they're faced with a similar decision, just like this. Do I go with high caloric, dense, packaged food that's much cheaper, that's going to leave myself and my children feeling full, but maybe not having the minerals and vitamins that are needed for a healthy lifestyle? Or just buy a few fruits and vegetables to help feed them. And so these are choices, really the lack of choice that a lot of our neighbors have. And then the layer really on top of that is this kind of geographic inequities that happen in places just like Greenville, but really across the country, where fast food and dollar stores and junk food retailers and convenience stores play neighborhoods like mine, while grocery stores and affordable produce distributors are far away from our community. So this is a map. It's a food desert map. Food desert is a sociological term that really helps quantify how far grocery stores really are from neighborhoods. So this is just a map of really not all of Louisville County, but the central part of Louisville County. And you can see the green and orange areas are what are classified as food deserts, where healthy grocery stores are challenging for low-income families that might have to depend on a ride or a public transit system to get to the grocery store. And so I think what's eye-opening to me about this slide is that the majority of Greenville is actually living in the desert. In fact, many of you might be living in the deserts and might not realize it. But some of our neighbors, as we know, don't have easy access to transportation to really get across town to get to some of these grocery stores and healthy food. So it's a very complex challenge. It's not something that's just in Greenville. And so we started by selling first in church parking lots. We bought a food truck back in 2012. We traveled to over a dozen church parking lots and community center parking lots selling produce out of the food truck. It was a great initiative, but very hard to sustain because it's, again, not a dependable routine service that our neighbors could depend on. We opened up a storefront actually, a small little storefront down in West Greenville with sold produce. It was a great initiative, but again, really hard and very focused in one small area. It was also very hard to compete with national retailers that had much bigger bargaining powers to be able to get the cost of goods down for low-income neighbors. And so we discovered this program called Food Share. So this is one of our boxes, and this is the program right now, wildly successful to really helping combat the systemic issue of really the cost and convenience of healthy food in our neighborhoods. And so we package bulk produce boxes that families pre-purchase, low-income families pre-purchase in our communities, either through us online or through our 800 hotline, or through our community partners like clinics, after-school providers, schools, community centers, where community members can pre-purchase this box. And by pre-purchasing a box of produce for a family, you for any lessons learned, extends your bargaining power, because so much of healthy food is thrown away in the grocery store. There's a lot of waste in the market. When you go to Ingles or Publix or Harris Teeter, much of that produce that you see in the community, in the grocery store, might be thrown away by the end of the week. And so you're paying for that. All of us are paying for that markup, for that waste of having healthy food in our grocery store. That's picture perfect. So by pre-purchasing a box, you're extending you're lengthening your kind of bargaining powers. So family pre-purchase or zero waste in our program, something that allows our families to get healthy food at an extreme discount. So it's roughly filled with $30, $25 to $30 of fresh fruits and vegetables every other week, year round. Families in our community can participate for $15 a pack or $5 in SNAP or EBT, formerly food stamps. So it's an incredible value for families that are on SNAP or EBT that are faced with some of these challenging situations and choices to make. So $30 worth of produce, $5 a SNAP. So we're serving now thousands of families across our county with this box across the county, from as far as Slater and Marietta to Greer, to Nicholtown, to West Greenville, to Simpsonville. And we lean on volunteers to pack these boxes. So I'd be remiss if I didn't share about volunteer opportunities with us over the volunteers and our youth that come together every other week that will pack food boxes. Our price went low, so our families can afford this product, and we distribute it through a no contact drive-through, especially during COVID, we give food to, especially for our vulnerable seniors in our neighborhoods, was incredibly important. So we did a lot of COVID to keep as this program grew. And so I've got a short little video here about Mill Village, and then I'll kind of move on here.
Mill Village Farms began in 2012 with a mission to grow food and grow jobs on the west side of Greenville. We realized the incredible need for healthy food in low-income, food desert communities, as well as opportunities for up-and-coming teenagers. What started as a partnership between 2 local churches and just 4 youth has now blossomed into 3 urban farms across Greenville, which have provided over 250 job opportunities for youth on our farms, as well as hundreds more have received hands-on training and mentorship with job and life skills since our inception. Every growing season, teenagers from diverse communities come together to grow fruits and vegetables for neighbors who lack access to affordable fresh foods.
Since the pandemic began, we have drastically expanded our agricultural operations to support our Food Share Greenville program. Every other week, we deliver over 900 boxes slam-packed with fresh fruits and veggies to families all across Greenville. Providing local, sustainably grown produce to our vulnerable neighbors is more important than ever as we fight to improve our health, overall well-being, and most importantly, ensuring everyone has access to healthy food.
While our students are growing healthy foods, they're also learning invaluable job and life skills that are critical for a successful and prosperous transition into adulthood. Students take professional development courses in personal finance, public speaking, fitness, and nutrition. These development opportunities help ensure our students are prepared for their next step after they graduate high school.
Fresh food and employment opportunities for youth couldn't be more important than now. With families on tighter budgets, affordable food and paid employment opportunities for our youth are critical to ensuring a prosperous Greenville. Thank you for helping us grow even more food and more jobs in Greenville through your generosity.
All right, well, that's a little bit about the farm. And this is how you can volunteer. If you're interested, you can go to foodsharegreenville.org. We have roughly about a dozen or so volunteers that come and help support this work week after week, and we could not do it without them. So I invite each and every one of you to come out and help volunteer. You can sign up on our website. I'll talk a little bit about that kind of towards the end of our presentation as well. I'm going to move on. I'm going to talk about our next enterprise, Village Ranch, which is really also right in our community. And so as I was mentioning earlier, we were selling really produce at a church parking lot. And so after we started at Long Branch in the Sullivan community, we hopped a few communities over and started selling produce in the West Greenville neighborhood, where Pastor Marjorie Fleming invited us to sell produce to neighbors there. And while we were doing that on Saturday mornings, volunteers started contacting us, and they were really excited to have a community building, really project happening right in the middle of their neighborhood, bringing neighbors together. And so volunteers asked, what would you think of if we brought out some tools and we fixed some bikes for some kids in our community? And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I'm not going to stop you. It sounds like a great idea. And so we had neighbors coming out with tools and wrench kits and started fixing largely kids' bikes in our neighborhood that might have gotten a bike maybe for Christmas, and by springtime, the inner tube was flat, and so these neighbors were now fixing other neighbors' bikes. And it became an incredible thing. Now hundreds of kids were coming out and getting their bikes repaired at this really pop-up repair day in the middle of West Greenville. And it gave us this idea, a light bulb went off, not only with myself, but our entire community, that there was a real need for a community bike shop right here in West Greenville, where we necessarily didn't have a bike shop. But we could also employ more students. And so Village Ranch now became a place where we could hire and develop more young adults that could learn basic mechanic skills while learning soft skills and leadership skills to provide a basic service to some of our neighbors. And that's how Village Ranch was really birthed, with young adults like here. This is Sully, who was one of our first students that worked with us. We now run a full-service bike shop in West Greenville, as well as pop-up bicycle repair days in 5 different neighborhoods now across Greenville County. Folks in our community and anyone, I invite you to come in, you can purchase or earn a bike. So we get bikes that are donated by folks in our community, and then our students and our master mechanics refurbish and repair those bikes, and then folks can come and purchase them or earn them by volunteering in the community. So there's a lot of young adults and students and kids that might want a new bike, so they can help volunteer for their church or a senior in their community and earn a new bike for themselves. So it's been a great way to get reliable bikes to some of our neighbors that really have many barriers to reliable transportation. So our bus system, unfortunately, in the community is very underfunded. Makes it very challenging for adults that don't have a reliable vehicle to get to a job or to get to a doctor's appointment or to get to the store. And so bike becomes a lifeline for a lot of our neighbors. And so we run free bike repair as well on first Saturdays and in all of these different communities. And then we also run a workshop space so that folks that want to fix their bikes can learn how to fix those themselves right there in our bike shop. And then our last program is our apprenticeship, our Earn a Bike program. I'm drawing a little blank, but I think, we run full service. So if you ever want to come in and get your bike tuned up or repaired, we have a full service bike shop where you can pay to get your bike tuned up with our master mechanics and our youth apprentices. And all the money that is spent there helps support kind of our mission right there in the community. So this is a little bit about Village Wrench. I've got a short little video. So I can't take you out to West Greenville today. I'd love to show you the bike shop through this short little video.
Village Wrench is a nonprofit, full service and sales bicycle shop in Greenville, South Carolina. We connect our community through bicycle repair, educational empowerment, and upward mobility. And our ultimate vision is an empowered community driving through bicycles. Bicycles are a fantastic platform and vehicle for upward mobility in the sense that people need a bicycle if they don't have a vehicle to get around. We offer a variety of programs here at Village Wrench, and then we have our bicycle shop. There's just a sense of community when you come in the shop, and a huge part of our values at Village Wrench is bringing people together, making them feel known and loved and welcome, regardless of what kind of bicycle they're riding or what their background is. We're at this intersection between a lot of development and growth in our community, but also still a lot of poverty. And so we are meeting people and being bridge builders of connecting the community and creating relationships with people that may not know each other otherwise. Thank you for supporting Village Wrench. Together, we are achieving an empowered community thriving through bicycles. We have safe bikes that are well maintained in our community, apprentices that are graduating our program, going on to college, and achieving successful careers, and community members that are earning bikes that are allowing them to have more sustainable jobs. It has been such a joy to fix bikes and make friends at Village Wrench, and I'm excited to continue doing that, deepening our impact in Greenville as we move forward together.
All right, so that's a little bit about Village Wrench, which again, would love you to come visit us. We also have plenty of volunteer opportunities there at the Live tuning a wrench with us, or coming to learn about how to tune a wrench. We run now mechanic training classes for community members that want to learn how to fix their own bikes. So while also being in the community, living in the neighborhood, another asset that we saw that often got overlooked. We're entrepreneurs. I started meeting so many neighbors and frankly women that were running side hustles out of their garages, out of their kitchens, out of the trunks of their cars, running catering businesses, running salons, running in-home daycare, you name it. We had some very enterprising women that were doing incredible things, but largely going unnoticed and largely going unsupported. And this was a way for many entrepreneurs and community members to earn a little extra money to help support them as they maybe can take their children on vacations or field trips. There was extra money in their pocket to help get them above the poverty line. And so we wanted to support them. And so as we got to know many of these entrepreneurs, we realized it wasn't just necessarily access to capital, although that was something that many of our entrepreneurs needed small, no interest, low interest loans to help support their small business and their dreams. But they also needed training. So the Village Launch exists really help support these group of women that need education around them to help put a business plan together, to help put a marketing deck together, to create a business license, to be able to file taxes, to be able to get a business license. All the things that go into being an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur, we provide training programs for. And so we run an incubator program that runs 10 straight weeks, where women like Javila here create incredible products that they sell to our community, while also creating jobs for not only themselves, but now employing other people in our community. So creating really grassroots economic development for really our community and beyond. So we provide training through this incubator program. We run in-depth workshops. We run boot camps. We do speaker series for entrepreneurs. And what we see when women and when entrepreneurs thrive, the whole community thrives because they're now creating products and services that benefit everybody. They're keeping money into our neighborhood rather than off to Amazon or wherever it might go, while also creating wealth for our community and for the next generation and beyond. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about that, as Greenville is one of the most challenging places for upward economic mobility in the country, and creating wealth for our neighbors has been very challenging when they've been systemically left out of so many wealth creating opportunities, like owning a home or like owning a small business. And so helping our entrepreneurs thrive and grow their small businesses helps support families build wealth and help support the next generation. So we're really excited. I think this is our smallest but mighty work that we do. It's roughly about a dozen entrepreneurs that come together once a week to help work on their small businesses, while also having mentors. And so we have mentors that help support them as well. Yeah, I know. I keep looking over here to my friends at home. So these are a group of some of our businesses that we're helping support. And then we've launched a market in West Greenville as well. So every third Thursday of the month, May through December, we invite our entrepreneurs to come out into the West Greenville community, set up a booth and sell their products. And so this has been a great platform for us to bring our community together, to not only support these entrepreneurs, but also to just bring our community together in a positive, productive way. So this is our market over here in West Greenville. It's at Co West, and so our first market's coming up here soon. So I hope you'll come out to that. We also have an event coming up here, I guess next Monday. We're doing a pitch competition. So every year we like to give away money to our entrepreneurs to help support them. And so we have some community partners that are going to allow us to give away $20,000 next week to 5 worthy entrepreneurs. And so they're going to pitch out at the Croc Center. The first place winner is going to go home with $10,000 to help kickstart their business. So it's going to be really exciting. We're really grateful for the community support for this event. So please come out 5:30 at the Croc Center, May 2nd, next Monday. And I also want to invite folks to mentor. One of the things that we consistently tell our entrepreneurs in our community, it's not just what you know, it's who you know, especially when you're a small business and an entrepreneur. We can probably all think of times in our life when a great connection really helps give us or maybe our children a leg up. And so our mentors provide that by providing not only a listening ear to help support an entrepreneur as they're navigating this part of their small business and growing their small businesses, but also helping connect them to resources. Because our mentors can't solve everything that our entrepreneurs have challenges with, but our mentors have connections in the community that can help support these entrepreneurs get to the next leg. So maybe you don't know how to create a website, but you might know somebody in your network that could help create a website for a small business. You might not be a bookkeeper or an accountant, but you might know someone that might be a bookkeeper or an accountant that will connect them too. So it's been really incredible to see how mentors coupled with our entrepreneurs, have really changed everybody. It changes our mentors and it changes our small businesses for the better. We had a great story this past year with an entrepreneur in our community who struggles. She has inflamed feet, so she wanted to create like a nicer, more dignified shoe to help support, frankly, women with inflamed feet. So she created this really unique product, prototype of a shoe, and her mentor actually had someone that was connected to Clark's shoes up in New York and helped connect her to Clark's. And now Clark's is now running a batch of her shoes for her, called Prototype for a Small Business. And it's because of connections like this that are game changers for our community. So being a mentor, we might not all be connected to some amazing group like that, but I say that because you never know what's going to happen when you put yourself in an environment like this. So Mentor Social, we have one of these coming up May 10th. If you want to come and learn, 5:30 to 7, you can learn more at villagelaunch.org to become a mentor. We're consistently recruiting mentors to this program. And then third Thursday, this is the market I was sharing about earlier. May 19th is our next one, 5 to 8 p.m. out at Po West in West Greenville, 556 Berry Avenue. If you want to come and just learn and dabble and see what our entrepreneurs are up to, this is a perfect place. You can come out, we have food trucks, we have a local brewery there, we've got food, we've got a local musician, we have music from the neighborhood that comes and performs, which is fantastic. And so it's just a great time, and it's not only a way to be a part of the community, but also to support byproducts. Hopefully, some cool, trinket or some item that you can give to a friend. So third Thursday, please come out. We'd love to have you. And then our last program before we do a small Q&A is Village Engage. And so I've hit on these kind of more systemic issues for a while now. As I lived in this community, I realized that there were so many upward challenges that our neighbors were faced with. And we couldn't just program our way out of these issues. It took the entire community being educated about things like food insecurity, like upward economic mobility, like transportation, to do something about it. It wasn't just our neighborhood's responsibility, it was our entire community's responsibility to help do this. And so Village Engage was really to help mobilize and educate people of faith. We were started by 2 local churches and help educate people about social issues and mobilize them to make some change. I think we all know there's a lot of challenges in our country and our world right now, but we have challenges right here in our own backyard in Greenville, South Carolina, that we can do something about. And so Village Engage helps educate people around issues and helps put them to action and do just that. And so we run community education events, we run programs at churches. I know I see some graduates here for some of our Just Faith programs that have learned about some of these issues and are doing something to make a real change. So that's a little bit about Village Engage. One of the issues we're working on right now is capping predatory interest rates. This is a very huge systemic issue that not only hits us here in Greenville, but our entire state. We live in an unregulated market for predatory lenders. There is no cap on interest rates in South Carolina. We have companies right here in our own backyard that charge 900% interest rates to low-income consumers, keeping them in a debt trap, keeping them in poverty, lending to people without doing any credit checks or any really ability to repay these loans, and keeping them in this cycle of poverty. So we helped launch a coalition called the South Carolina Fair Lending Alliance over the next 2 years, where we hope to propose legislation in the State House to introduce a rate cap, which many peer state stars have done. So it's absolutely possible, and it's a total bipartisan opportunity for us to focus on. So that's one of our issues. And I've got one short video, and I'm gonna be quiet so you can just hear a little bit about the impact of what people have experienced at Mill Village, and I'll take some questions before we wrap up.
Mill Village Ministries began nearly 10 years ago as a grassroots outreach on the west side of Greenville. It has now grown to a holistic and vibrant community development coalition that's breaking down systemic barriers and sparking multi-generational change. We do this through our 4 social enterprises: Mill Village Farms, Village Engage, Village Launch, and Village Wrench. And now, I'd love for you to hear some stories from our neighbors who have been impacted by our work.
Hey, I'm Cinder. I started working at Mill Village in a youth crew and we worked as a team to plant crops seasonally. We actually harvested over 2,000 pounds of produce this summer. And so we worked on teamwork skills and people skills, as well as being able to develop our character. We also worked on being able to just learn simple farm skills, so whether how to use a tool or how to plant and how to harvest. We also went to food share and helped pack produce boxes that we were able to give out to people. Part of working at Mill Village, we actually were involved in a Powered for Life class, which helped us learn life skills and job skills such as interviewing and writing a resume, and those things really helped me in life. Now I actually work at Spill the Beans downtown. I'm really thankful for the experiences I've had at Mill Village and the opportunities to learn and grow.
My name is Barbara Franklin, and I learned about the Food Share program through an email that I received from a friend. It was the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. I purchased a box for myself and saw that it was such a really good product in there that I thought that I would share the information with some other people. It just really kind of started into a ministry that I began to just get food boxes for other people. The food is healthy, it's good, just some things that people wouldn't ordinarily buy at the grocery store. Fruits, vegetables, and I've been able to experiment with some salads and just different things. It's been a blessing for those seniors and people that don't have transportation to be able to get out and get it for themselves. And it's just a sense of joy to be able to help somebody.
I'm Julianne Cruz, and I learned about Village Engaged through the Just Faith program. I was looking for a community of people who were committed to making an impact on issues of social justice based on our faith. We had the opportunity to partner with Piedmont Health Foundation to gain more funding for GreenLink, our public transit system. Every single person we talked to had a story about how the limitations of the public transit system impacted their lives. We were encouraged to attend a county council meeting, and so I decided that I could share some of these stories. I could tell by looking at the county council members' faces that it made an impact. The end result was that GreenLink did get more funding. That's where I see Village Engage and where I hope that we can continue to make that impact for our community.
Hi, I'm Michelle, the owner of Pound for Pound Sweet Treats. We make homemade goodies just for you. We make pound cakes, cookies, ice cream. We have ice cream on the truck. Whatever you desire, we make it here for you. One of my friends had this trailer in the back of his yard that was just there for over 3 years. And when I told him the idea that I wanted to start a dessert truck, he was like, hey, I have this trailer. Why don't you come back here and look at it? I went and got it and brought it to life. I found out about Village Lunch through a friend. It came at a perfect time for me because I needed to grow my business. I needed to learn how to do my books correctly. I needed more help, more mentorship, and just that boost of confidence. I'm thankful that I'll be able to continue to grow my business with the tools that I've learned from Village Lunch and to be able to serve the communities with some great sweet treats.
My name is Gavin. I work as an apprentice bike mechanic here at Village Wrench. I work through Six Cycle, which is a program that teaches kids how to work on bikes. Volunteers come in and they help us learn on how to work on old bikes and refurbish them for profit. After completing the Six Cycle program, I was offered an apprenticeship here at Village Wrench. In the shop, I like working with my coworkers. I have a lot of fun working on bikes and meeting new people who come in through the door every day. Village Wrench has impacted me a lot. I've learned so much about myself and how to work with others. I learned how to work with customers and how to work on bikes. I've learned a lot of skills, and I know I'm going to use them for the rest of my life.
As we look forward, Mill Village Ministries envisions a future where all neighbors have access to this work, a place where youth, families, and adults have opportunities to thrive and reach new heights. And we invite you to join us.
All right. Well, that's a little bit about Mill Village. I know we don't have a ton of time, a little over 5 minutes, but I'd love to take some questions. I'm sure there's some. If there's anyone on Zoom that wants to ask questions, please chime in. I think Sue's going to ask them.
Raise your hand and speak loud and so those who can hear your question. I have 2 questions. One, if the food through Mill Fair, is that all locally grown?
Yeah.
And are you buy or is it done?
Absolutely. Great question. Thank you for asking it. So she asked it where we get some of the food for our food share program. We actually source it from a variety of different places. We grow some of the food from our local farm. We then work with other local farms to purchase produce locally when we can. And then we also work with produce distributors to help source produce really across the region and across the country to get healthy food in these boxes. Since it's a year-round box, we can't grow year-round. We can't get stuff locally year-round, so we're getting really all over. Good question.
South Carolina peaches.
Yeah, we always try to buy South Carolina peaches, South Carolina strawberries, since we're in strawberry season, to ensure we're getting as much local stuff as we possibly can. But since it's year-round, we're sourcing it really from all over. So good question. Thank you. Good to see that.
So wonderful to have you and see what Furman produces. Furman, he's a
Go, Howard. Yes.
Overwhelming, right? I wondered if by any chance you are also partnered with Feed and Seed.
Oh, great question. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Feed and Seed, they just opened their doors a few weeks ago, just down the street from us in the Judson Mill. Feed and Seed's aggregating local food and then helping resell it to institutions, as well as helping getting healthy food to some of our neighbors. So we work closely with Mary. I'm excited that they just opened their doors. It's been a labor of love. She's been working diligently for probably 2 years at that facility. So we work closely with her. Our goal is that we can order and purchase produce from Feed and Seed another way that we can help get local food into these boxes, and as well as do some outreach. So we love Mary and Feed and Seed.
And next week, that's something you want to learn.
Yes, so come out. Yeah.
She said next week our speaker will meet about the Feed and Seed program that they were just discussing.
When y'all started, were you growing food on the top of the building at the corner of Washington and Main?
We were. That was a project we did at the very beginning. We had it's no longer the developer who owns that building. We lost access to it, but we did at one point. So we have 3 farms currently. We have one in the Sullivan community where we got started. We have one in the West Springfield community along Hamilton Street. And then we have one rural site that's right on Toledo Road, kind of on the Pickens-Greenville County border. We have some larger property to work with.
Do you use those hydroponic towers now?
Yeah, so we have hydroponic towers that we use inside greenhouses. We have an community with some community partners. We're hoping to get them back up and running here. We like to use them largely in the off season. It allows us to extend our growing season. We use those in greenhouses and other locations. So they're a great tool. If you're not familiar with hydroponics farming is really growing produce and food in water, and allows us to grow food faster and generally with less resources. Good question. Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations on the multifaceted program. Look like you get most bases covered. I'm interested in, you see all the help on that you more jobs than there are people today. How are you interfacing with the for-profit community and providing people to them?
Yeah, great question. Absolutely. I think we all know, the big quit is what people are calling it. So many places are hiring right now, especially even youth. So our young adults certainly have a lot more options today than they had five years ago when we were first getting started, which is exciting for a lot of young adults as there's just more jobs than there are people, frankly. I've also seen what I've seen in our community is some of the entrepreneurs that you heard from people have quit their jobs and have followed their dreams and are starting businesses and are starting enterprises to help create their own jobs, which has been an amazing, I think, opportunity for our community to not only create jobs, create wealth on their own, and also do something that they love and they're passionate about, and also create a real community benefit and a community service. So we've seen a lot of people do that, and maybe not going back to the traditional workforce. In fact, you heard Michelle earlier, she actually lost her job during COVID and started that food truck in the middle of the pandemic. She got her job offered back to her after the pandemic was over, and she said, no thanks. And she has now since hired an additional person to work with her. So to me, those are good problems to have. I think this is a real national problem. I frankly just don't think there's enough workers for as many jobs as we have, so that's above my pay grade. But good question. Yeah, we're helping provide a lot of connections though for youth to partners. So we've got a dozen employers that will hire our youth after they work from us. We're at Sender. Talk about how we got a job at Spill the Beans. We work with a lot of local restaurant groups like Table for the Ones. So we hire some of our students after they work with us.
Last question.
Hello, I do a lot of volunteer work with both Harvest Hope and Foothills Family Resource Center up in St. Marietta. And it has been, I've observed this, that we get a lot of donations from grocery stores or whatever, and from local farms. And when we hand out the food, culturally, these are things that people are not used to cooking. I think it's the economic thing where it's so much cheaper to buy a box of macaroni and cheese than, you know, some fresh. Is there any way to be able to include, I don't know, recipes or training so that people know what they're
Oh, great question. I'm so glad you asked that. In fact, I regret I didn't share about that when I was talking about food share. But absolutely, I think because people maybe can't afford or it's convenience, maybe are not used to cooking with specific fruits and vegetables. So we offer recipe cards in each of our food share boxes, bilingual too, with a lot of native Spanish speakers. And then one of the exciting things that we started during COVID, and that's been a really fun project, is we actually run a Facebook Live cooking show with local minority restaurants, as well as healthcare providers. So doctors team up with local chefs in the neighborhood and teach healthy cooking skills and food prep skills on Facebook Live, so our community can learn how to cook some of these, exciting products. We take it for granted that maybe some seniors have had access or could afford something like an avocado. And so Ms. Barbara, who you heard, she has her own ministry where she teaches seniors how to, make her own, guacamole or some, fun product. And so it's a lot of education, but it's really access to it, education and access. And so we run a lot of these educational programs through the recipe cards and then also on these Facebook Live. And anyone can attend those cooking shows. If you're interested, you can like us on Facebook at Mill Village Farms. Every month we run one of these cooking shows. They're a lot of fun. We bring in some really exciting chefs and restaurateurs. So if you need me, I know that our time is up. My information's here. I'll be out in the hallway. As Sarah mentioned, would love to chat with you. We're always looking for volunteers, and I appreciate everyone zooming in and joining us. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.
You guys could own a large dog.
A poodle.